I want to thank Rabbi Ben Shlush for offering me the opportunity to, in preparation for Pesach, to offer some words of Torah from one of the rabbis of Rhodes. I'm going to be focusing on Rabbi Haim Shelomo Tarsa, who died in Rhodes in 1799, and he published the sefer, which we'll be learning a piece from today, Hayim Shenayim. There were three rabbis in Rhodes during that time of note who I want to mention. There were others as well, but I want to mention these three. Rabbi Moshe Yisrael was a contemporary. This is the second Rabbi Moshe Yisrael. Rabbi Mordechai Crespin and Rabbi Raphael Yehuda Yisrael were three rabbis who were contemporaries, lived in Rhodes at the same time, and they were these rabbis of note. Just as parenthetically, Rabbi Tarsa's matzeva, his tombstone is extant, and one can see it in the Jewish cemetery of Rhodes. The issue we're going to be learning this morning is an issue taken up by Rabbi Tarsa in his Sefer Hayim Shenayim in Siman Bet in chapter 2. And it's a question related to Pesach, and the question is a person permitted to burn his chametz when talking about the morning of the 14th? Can a person do it earlier in the morning and not wait until the normal time, which is at the 5th hour? If a person's concerned they're going to forget to burn the chametz on time, or no, that a person has to wait until the 5th hour, because there's a principle of chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, that a mitzvah is most precious in its proper time. To explain the context for this question, we have to go back to the Talmud. In the Talmud, the Gemara explains in a few places that a mitzvah is most precious in its proper time, and one of the cases that is cited as an application of this principle is regarding the olah. Let's explain. The olah is a complete burning of an animal, and there were two olot that were offered, two complete offerings offered twice each day. One in the morning, olat haboker, and one in the afternoon, olat ben harabayim. In the olah, there were parts of the animal that were not burnt, but they were burnt separately. Haktara, they were burned separately, and the law for those parts of the animal that were burned separately is that they could be burnt at night, must be burned really by midnight, but according to Torah law, could be burnt all night. Regarding these parts of the animal, the Halakha, the Gemara says, and it's codified in the Rambam, is that they must be burnt during the day, even if that day is Shabbat. Now, one might think that on Shabbat, where generally one cannot burn things, it's true you can offer the offering, but in this situation where these parts of the animals could be burnt at night, why not hold them off until after Shabbat's over, and that way you'll save a violation of the Torah, or something one normally could not do outside of the temple. The halakha, though, is no, that chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, that mitzvah is most precious in its proper time, and therefore one should not deliberately wait to burn those things until the nighttime, and one should burn them on Shabbat. If one didn't, then one could burn them at night, but one should burn them even on Shabbat to make the mitzvah the most precious in its proper time. Okay, so coming back to our case of burning the chametz, so the question is, can one burn the chametz early, i.e. before the 5th hour, or must one wait to the 5th hour, therefore making it most precious in its proper time? Rabbi Tarsa explains, he cites the opinion, in the beginning of this piece, he cites the opinion of the Mahari Kolon, as cited in a sefer called Yad Malachi, which was published in 1748, again, a little bit, contemporary really of Rabbi Tarsa. So in this sefer, the opinion of Rabbi Kolon is brought, and Rabbi Kolon says that regarding the burning of chametz, one should ideally burn the chametz at the appointed time, the 5th hour, unless a person has reasons, burning it earlier, that are mitzvah specific. So if a person personally, they just want to burn it earlier, or there's some other consideration that they have, a personal interest or something like that, a person should not burn it early. But if a person has mitzvah considerations, some kind of specific considerations for the commandment itself, then a person may burn it earlier. Okay, that's the opinion of the Rabbi Kolon. Rabbi Tarsa, now I'm going to pick up everything else we're going to say is really from Rabbi Tarsa himself. He analyzes this position and he says, maybe what Rabbi Kolon means is that a person can burn it only within a very narrow window. So even though he says that for a mitzvah reason, a person could burn it early, but maybe that means that a person could burn it only from the fourth hour of the day instead of the fifth hour. The fourth hour being of the day being when you can't eat chametz from a rabbinic law, the fifth hour when you can't own chametz from a rabbinic law. So maybe you could just move it back just a little bit. Or he says, Rabbi Tarsa says, maybe what Rabbi Kolon means is that one can only take into consideration factors which were on the rabbi's mind as to why they made the specific law that you have to burn the chametz in the fifth hour as opposed to the Torah law, which is in the sixth hour. So he says, well, if you have their considerations, maybe it's a cloudy day, maybe you're worried an animal is going to get the chametz, something like that. If you have one of these ideas in mind, then that would be a reason why you could bring the chametz and burn it earlier. But for any other reason than that, there is no reason why you shouldn't burn the chametz early. I mean, if you did, it would still be good, but you shouldn't advance the burning of the chametz. One should instead, according to Rabbi Kolon, or Rabbi Tarsa's interpretation of Rabbi Kolon, one should burn it only in its proper time. Rabbi Tarsa now, done with Rabbi Kolon, now Rabbi Tarsa analyzes the question on his own terms. He says that, no, he doesn't believe, bottom line, he does not believe that the principle of chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, that a mitzvah is most precious when it's done in its proper time, he does not believe that principle applies to the burning of chametz. He analyzes Rabbi Kolon to say that it's kind of a general principle that applies pretty much to every mitzvah, and that you have to use the specifics of the mitzvah to figure out, generally how to apply the principle. Rabbi Tarsa says, the way I'm interpreting him, Rabbi Tarsa has a much more technical idea of the application of this principle. It only applies in a very limited set of cases, and biur chametz is not one of them. Let's explain. Rabbi Tarsa says that there are a few aspects of the biur chametz that would indicate that this principle should not apply. Number one is that the principle should only apply in cases where you have a specific time to do the mitzvah. That's not the case by burning of chametz. For example, let's say a person had a lot of chametz to burn. So that can't be done in an instant. That has to be done over time. Let's say he has, pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of chametz. So a person's going to have to burn that over the course of many minutes or even in many hours. It's going to take time to burn the chametz. So what you see from that is that it can't be done instantaneously in just a moment, like, taking a lulav, for example, or something like that. No, it's something that is over time. So since it's over time, you can't say that a mitzvah is most precious when done in its proper time. There is no proper time, really, in essence, for this mitzvah. It can be done over time. Or, for example, let's say another case. A person goes on a boat and he's leaving prior to the day of the 14th. So in that kind of case, a person can burn the chametz before he goes on his voyage. So you see again that the Torah allows a person, and the rabbis allow a person to burn the chametz over a period of time, and so there's no one specific moment that you can say it is its proper time. Okay. So when you say chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, there has to be a sha'ah, there has to be a moment, and in this case there is no moment. He goes further. Rabbi Tarsa says that furthermore, even the mitzvah of burning the chametz is in service itself of another mitzvah. One reason why we burn the chametz is in order to give the matzah, more identity. When you have in your possession and you have in your house matzah, and you don't have anything that's not matzah, any chametz, any kind of leavened product, the unleavened product has more significance. So the one purpose of burning the chametz is to give the matzah more prominence. So what in essence is the burning of the chametz? It's a preparation for matzah. Chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, doing a mitzvah in its proper time, is only when you're talking about a mitzvah that stands alone. But for a preparation of a mitzvah, you don't apply the principle. That's the second basis why Rabbi Tarsa says this principle simply doesn't apply in our case. Third, he says that even the Torah's treatment of the burning of chametz, it says ach bayom harishon. So, but on the day prior to Pesach. And so you see here that there's no specific time that the Torah demands that you burn the chametz. It's simply that it must be done on the first day, or even it must be done by the first day, but which is the day before, the morning of the 14th. It must be done by then. So it's not telling you must do it then. It's saying it must be done by then. So what you see from that is that there's really no specific time to perform the mitzvah such that it would be precious to do it at its proper time. Finally, Rabbi Tarsa cites the Harambam in Mishneh Torah, who says that one can burn the chametz, even from the night before the 14th, if one wants to, after he's performed the search. Other commentators say that even there was a custom to burn it on the night of the 13th, not just if you wanted to, you could. And there are other sources that Rabbi Tarsa brings in defense of his position, all showing that this principle of chaviva mitzvah b'sha'ata, that a mitzvah is most precious when done in its proper time, is a true principle, but it doesn't apply to the burning of the chametz. So bottom line, just to summarize, is that Rabbi Kolon does maintain that there's a principle of doing a mitzvah in its proper time, and that does apply to biur chametz likely because he understood it as a kind of a general attitude towards mitzvot. However, Rabbi Tarsa maintains it's a more technical principle, and as a technical principle, it applies to certain mitzvot, like the burning of the parts of the animal that were not burnt as part of the sacrifice in the temple. But other mitzvot that either are not done at a specific time or are not themselves a standalone mitzvah, for these kinds of mitzvot or these kinds of situations, the principle simply does not apply. I wish everyone a muadim l'simcha, and I hope that we have the chance to learn again together soon.